One really nice feature in Ardour 9 is the ability to save and import mixer strips as templates. So let's say you have a session open here with 16 tracks, you've named them, you've added plugins, you've set some fader levels and all that, and then you realize this is really handy. I've got the right plugins here with the right settings for my space. I want to save all of these mixer strips as a template. You would go Session, Save Mixer Strips, and then at that point you can choose either all of your tracks or just selected tracks. You can choose to save it as local or global. And if you want to use these mixer strips in other sessions, you'd want to choose global. So then you would name it, and it would save it in the appropriate place such that you can import it later. And then when you do want to import, you just say Session Import Mixer Strips, and here are all the globals that I've saved before. So for me, this almost replaces session templates, which I don't use much anyway, but for my use cases, this does almost everything I would normally want to import from another session. But the problem is, as with session templates, the way that you manage these once you've made them is to go Window Templates. So here you have your session templates and then your global strip templates. But the ability to manage these is fairly rudimentary. So you can remove and rename, you can export and import, but you can't like duplicate one, you can't do a save as to do a new version of it. The only way you can really update anything is to open one in a new session, or rather create a new session, import your mixer strips, and then change them and then do an export. The problem though is that if you want to replace the previous one, then you have to type the name again exactly. If you get it one character off, then you've saved another one, which is in essence mostly a duplicate of the other. So that's a problem. And maybe they'll make that better at some point. They're making improvements all the time, but for now, again, it's fairly rudimentary. And so they're kind of difficult to manage. So today I'm going to show you a hack on how you can rethink the way you save mixer strips as templates. So on the left here, I have the session open. I also have, so that is 16 channel tracking. I also have an 8 channel, which is the same thing with just 8 channels just to play with. On the right side, however, I'm going to open up a new instance of Ardour, and I'm going to create a new session called templates. So this is where I'm going to store all of my mixer strip templates. So again, it's just an empty session where I'm going to store these within snapshots. So let's open up the snapshot right pane there. So this is empty, called templates. The first thing I want to do is create a new session template and switch to it. I'm going to call this 16 channel tracking, just like my session on the left side there. So now I have 2 snapshots and I've switched to the 16 channel tracking. Instead of saving a session template and importing it over here, I'm going to import mixer strips from the existing session. So here in recent sessions, that's my session on the left side. So I'm going to select that, click forward, and I'm going to tell it to import all its new tracks. And boom, I have all of my track configs from the left side over in my templates session now. So this is pretty handy. So now, again, I have these saved as snapshots. So now let's say I want to do a new one here for my 8-channel templates. I don't even have to open it. I can just go back to my empty session for a moment, save and close, and then I will create, again, a new snapshot and switch to it. And I'll call this 8-channel tracking. So I've switched to that snapshot. Then I'm going to, just like I did before, import mixer strips, and I'm going to import my 8-channel tracking, all as new tracks. Okay, so now I have both of these guys as snapshots. So now let's say I create a new session here. Yes, I do want to save. Let's create a new session, and I'll just call this test 01 empty. So then if I want to import my so-called template, I'm going to say session import mixer strips, and I can expand this templates to show which one I want to import. Let's say I want to do the 16 channel. And again, since it's empty, I'm going to go import all his new tracks. And there you have it. I could have done the same thing if I had imported it from my other session, but this is all saved in one neat place. And with snapshots, you can import whatever. So let's say, what else would I want to do here? Let's say I want to make an update. Let's say I'm going to open that 16 channel tracking session again. And I want to make an update to it. So let's say that I'd put some more processing here. New parametric EQ. I've changed the settings. something like that, and save. Now I want to make this available as a template. I have a couple options here. Within my templates session, this darn thing, I'm going to open up my 16 channel tracking. And then I'm going to ask myself, do I want to replace this or do I want to create a new revision? If I want to replace it, I would just import them and replace. But I'm going to create a new revision here. So I'm going to, from this 16 channel tracking, I'll save a new snapshot and switch to it. I'm going to call this 16 channel tracking -01. So it's going to be identical to the previous, but now I've got the 01 open. So now I'm going to do the same thing again since I've saved this left session over here. I'm going to say session import mixer strips. I'm going to choose the 16 channel tracking and go forward, but, and I know that it's the same number of tracks, I'm going to reset auto map by name. Boom. So now I have, I'm going to save that. Now I have two templates here, the first version and the second revision. And so one note here about snapshots, or a couple notes. There are no relationships between snapshots. So I created this snapshot up here from the empty template, but once I make changes to it, they're not the same and there's no relationship between them. So now that I have two 16 channel tracking templates or snapshots, if I make changes to one, it will only affect that one. So there's no relationship between snapshots and there's no branching. Like I did create this one from that one, but again, they're unrelated, so there is no branching. The other thing is that these are always organized alphabetically by snapshot name. So as long as you name them logically, they're going to appear logically here. So I think that's all I really wanted to show. It's a really handy way to do all this, and it allows you to manage them a little more elegantly and do some versioning and things like that. So I hope this helps somebody.